I'm Brendan Boyd. I am faculty in political science here at MacEwan University. The housing crisis here in Edmonton is, first of all, I come at this from a public policy perspective and thinking about the policies and government responses and how that either contributes to or detracts from a particular issue. And so what I think we need to think about when we think about recognize with government is that they don't control everything, right? And so we focus on the media, we focus on opposition parties or just parties in general. And of course, they're always trying to place blame somewhere. And so it's always the incumbent's government's fault. And then when you hear the government respond, of course, it's never their fault, right? So, but of course we know that government does have some role to play. It's not like these things are completely random and government is totally powerless. So what I'd like to see is have a discussion that recognizes a little bit more in a nuanced and specific way what governments can actually do and what they can't do. Our government's going to be able to go out and solve homelessness crisis in the next weeks, months, even years? Probably not. There are a lot of things, whether it's the pandemic or whether it's inflation, that government has some control over, but not a lot. So I think that's what I want people to understand, is that have a realistic expectation of what government can and can't do. I think the other thing that's important to realize is that there may not be sort of a silver bullet or one solution that's out there, whether, that shows that, okay, we do this and then everything is solved, right? And a lot of times people will focus on funding, and funding is a big part of it, right? More funding would probably help, but would it solve everything? Not necessarily. There are other things that play into that. So, those are kind of things that I think would move the sort of public discourse in a better direction and allow us to place better and smarter pressure on our leaders and on our decision makers when we do go to try to, whether it's voting or lobbying them or writing letters, those types of things. What I'd like to see, I guess, or what I think governments can do is work in a process of co-production a little bit better. One of the things that's happened with government over the last 10, 20 years is it's gone from being sort of the problem solver and the only game in town when it came to these policy issues to now being one of many actors. There are a lot of different actors out there, whether it's community groups, whether it's the private sector, whether it's individuals that have a role to play in this. And government, I think, is in the process of shifting, and they do a good job sometimes, but not all the time, thinking about producing things with people rather than for people. And so I think, that approach will lead into whether it's, building shelter spaces that are appropriate, comfortable, something that, residents have a say in terms of what they need, and actually have not just a consultation, but an actual role in building. That a lot of the solutions, I'm more interested in how the solutions sort of get made and thinking about ways to incorporate the lived experience of people who have experienced homeless, right, into the solutions and build them from the ground up rather than sort of government putting something out and saying like, okay, here's our solution, do you like it or not? But actually building it with them, I think, is the key thing for me. At the end of the day, trying to do something that will make people's lives better in the situation that they're in, that's what we're interested in, is proposing solutions and trying to find a way to work together to make things better.